Before I get started, I want to ask you guys to do something for me, something very important. I want everybody in here to participate, especially now, right? I want everybody in here right now, within the sound of my voice, everybody in here, to look at somebody that you don't know and pay them a compliment. Everybody in here, look at somebody you don't know, pay them a compliment. Right now, you too, sir, look at somebody you don't know, pay them a compliment. Turn mask people, look at somebody you don't know, pay them a compliment. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. That's great. All right, that's great. All right. You did too much, ma'am. Put your tongue in. No, she didn't. She didn't have it out. She was just... Now she's mad at me. Because isn't the random compliment a cool thing? The random compliment a cool thing? Right, sir? I mean, like... Because it's like we live in such a society of haters. Right? Until nobody really compliments each other anymore. Right? I mean, like if you think about it, you can't consistently get a compliment on something unless you don't have it anymore, right? People are like, hey man, so I hear you lost your house in foreclosure. Wow, that was a nice house, man. That was beautiful. You had wood floors and granite countertops and stuff. They don't care. They'll say anything. So you have diabetes and you don't have that foot anymore. That was a great foot, bro. We used to play soccer and kickball and stuff. And now you can't do but 1/4 of the hokey pokey. Yeah, thank you for that clap, sir. That's a compliment. I appreciate that. That's good. That's good. My friend Hopalong down here. Good to see you, man. You are killing the game. Thank you so much, man. Haters, I had this little girl hating on me, First of all, like nowadays there's this thing called there's this thing like for the medical, there's this thing called the reticular activating system. And what happens with that is like there's this thing in your brain that if it activates, then whatever you focus on, you're gonna see that thing all the time, right? So now in this period that we're in where everybody's not getting along, which is something I'll get to later on, you see it everywhere. Like if you think people don't like you, you think people don't like you everywhere. I was at Starbucks and I was in line. This dude behind me was a little girl, she starts looking at me, right? Little bitty girl, cute, she starts looking at me. Now kids do, they look at you, they stare at you. Sometimes you want to go, well, what are you looking at? But you can't do that because they're a little kid and you want to scare them. But she's looking at me, I look back at her and her dad looks at me looking at her and I look at him looking at her looking at me. Then we look at each other looking at each other and then the little girl looks up at her dad and she says, Daddy. When she says, Daddy, she's about to say something messed up, right? I guess she saw my beard and my hair. And she says, Daddy, he looks like the devil. Her dad didn't change words. He was like, no, sweetie, he looks nothing like your mother. Sometimes parents say stuff about their kids. Tell me your name again, love. Leah. Sometimes parents say things about their kids that I don't understand. They say that they have these superlatives to describe their love for their kids that I just don't get. Like, I don't get it when parents go, I wouldn't trade my kid for all the money in the world. Really? In this economy? I mean, think about it. By virtue of the scenario, if you traded your kid for all the money in the world, then what? Nobody else would have any money. So you could just buy the kid back. And then you'd have all the money in the world minus like $13. Everybody's happy. You're happy because you got your kid back. Kid's happy because he has you back, and the other dude is happy because he's the second richest person in the world. I went to college at a major university in the state of Texas. I majored in political science. I feel bad that I hadn't gone back to get that last 120 credits. I'm adopted and I have no idea who my biological mother is, and for that reason, I do not date older women. Wow. Let me just be real. I am so happy to see the two black people that are in here right now. I'm just saying. You're welcome. I thank y'all for coming. May God bless you indeed. I appreciate you. Actually, I kind of freaked this white lady out earlier today. She walked towards my car and I locked my door. You laugh, but she broke in and took my stuff anyway. The police caught her. They had her in a lineup, but I couldn't identify her because, they all. It's not so funny now, is it?
That's still funny.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's my agent back there. Thanks for coming. Times are tough now. It's like, this crew, for this production, they're great, man. You guys clap it up for Dry Bar Comedy. Give it up for Dry Bar. Been a comedian for a long time, man. People ask me questions all the time, so same questions over and over again, man, People always come to me and go, hey, man, since you're a comedian, does that mean when you were in school, you were the class clown? When you were in school, were you the class clown? I'm like, no, I never wore makeup. But my friend Andre did. He was gay. I was actually on an airplane once, and the comedy god smiled down on me, and I was sitting next to a proctologist who recognized me. He was going, hey, man, aren't you a comedian? I was like, yeah. He was like, listen, when you were in school, were you the class clown? I'm like, hey, you're a proctologist. When you were in school, did you examine people's backsides? He said, no, but my friend Andre did. It's very kind. Thank you, sir. You got that started. Thank you, man. I got you. I like this crowd. So I have a friend who is a geriatric nurse, and she wanted me to do a show for Alzheimer's patients. I'm thinking, man, this is going to be the easiest show of my career. I did it, too. I was on stage for 2 hours. One joke. It's messed up, right? I know. It kind of runs in my family, so eventually I'm going to be affected by it, so I guess. So I have a friend who is a geriatric nurse, and she wanted me to do a show for her Alzheimer's patients, and I'm thinking, man, it's going to be the easiest show of my career. I did it, too. I was on stage for 2 hours. One joke. That's messed up, right? Kind of runs in my family, so eventually I'm going to be affected by it. So I have a friend who is a geriatric nurse. She wanted me to. I like the people that didn't get it the first time. They're like, why does he keep saying that? That guy must have Alzheimer's. I've been doing stand-up comedy for a long time. many years, but it's not my first like professional occupation. Like I used to be a police officer. I was a cop in Texas for a number of years, man. And the funny thing about me being a cop is when I first graduated from the police academy, I was assigned to an all-white neighborhood. So frequently I'd get this call, 527, do we have a report of a suspicious black male? Approximately 6'1", weighing 180 pounds, driving a patrol cart. So I'm looking for him. And, the thing about being a cop, sir, is that basically, like, all people want you to do is be able to solve problems, right? You learn laws, you learn codes of criminal procedure, you learn all types of stuff, but all anybody wants you to do is solve the problem. Problem solved is what we'd say. Some years ago, I made a disturbance call. I go inside, and these two guys were in a fight. Get there, and this one guy's beating this guy up. So I start beating him up. And then the other dude starts beating me up. Then I started beating him up. And then the three of us had a beer and I left. Problem solved. In 2002, I worked narcotics, and that year I earned $3.6 million. Cash. People ask me all the time to go, hey man, when cops confiscate marijuana, do you guys burn it? Yep. A little bit at a time. That explains the donuts. Whoa. I don't do drugs, never have, no. I tried marijuana one time in my life. One time, never will I do it again. Because what happens is I'm already like really tightly wound. And so what it did to me is like it made me like super paranoid. So I'm at this place with my friends, I do a little marijuana thing, and then, my friends across the room, and I was like, hey man, we need to go. He's like, what? I was like, I got to go. He's like, what's wrong? I was like, people are looking at me. He's like, what? I said, people are looking at me. So we left, went back to his house. He's like, bro, what was wrong with you? I was like, dude, people were looking at me. He's like, you were on stage. So I'll never do that again. My friends are something else, man. I have like really mainstream friends. I have friends that kind of look like you guys, and I also have friends that look like me. So this is a story about one of my friends, sir. So I work all sorts of stuff. I do concert openings, I do cruise ships, I do corporate events. It runs the gamut. I toured with Aretha Franklin for 4 years. I was the opening comedian on our last national tour. I do everything, but what I like to do is cruise ships. I love working cruise ships. It's fun. You get to travel, work with friends. It's like a great environment, whatever. So my friend comes to my house, black friend. He's like, hey man, I hear you work on cruise ships. It's like, yeah. He's like, I don't think a black man should work on cruise ships. I go, why? He's like, slavery. I'm like, I'm there voluntarily, right? I'm not in the bottom of the boat, swing low. And he works at Long John Silver's. I said, at least there's an actual captain in my job. He got mad at me. He said, shut up, dog. I said, hush, puppy. We don't get along in this country a lot because, we don't want to, we want to face our differences with angst as opposed to facing our difference with understanding, our differences with understanding, right? I think a lot of problems could be solved via very simple remedies. I think some people just are who they are. Like, I never say disparaging things about white people when I'm in front of a bunch of white people because, hey, I have a flight in the morning. But you know what? I don't have a whole lot of bad stuff. I mean, I don't have bad stuff to say, man, because I don't see everybody say. But what I will say, but I do give credit where credit is due. Like, white people know how to conduct a proper garage sale. Like, you guys will sell anything at a garage sale, man. I picked up some grandparents at a white people's garage sale. It's like Mimi and Pop are hard workers, man. I could afford them, but not their teeth, so they're my undentured servants. Now, I went to one garage sale in particular and picked up some men's clothing and some luggage and stuff, and it turns out it wasn't a garage sale at all. It was an argument in progress. They were chasing me down the street going, give me my stuff back. Last thing, again, if you have problems with stuff, do me a favor, guys. Let's try and find remedies and solutions and stuff for it before we argue, we fuss and fight. I'll give you an example, then I'll leave. Like last year and this year, man, there was this huge national anthem controversy, within the NFL and in sports. Like, a lot of people couldn't understand why athletes wanted to kneel for their national anthem, and other people wondered why people couldn't understand why they would. Here's the deal. If you're of the belief that athletes should not kneel for the national anthem, don't get upset, man. Be proactive. What you should do is you should petition your NFL team to hire one of those black gospel singers to sing it. Because ain't nobody trying to stay on their knees that long. She'd be like, oh, I'm like, man, I'm about to get up, man. This don't make no sense right here. Black knees matter right now, black knees. I think you guys have had enough. That's great. What do you say? Cops can't stand it when people can't determine the difference between being honest and being stupid. Like, you gotta know the difference between being honest and being stupid. Very thin but definitive line between honesty and stupidity. For example, if you find a wallet and it has like $1,000 in it and you give the wallet back, that's honest. If you give the $1,000 back, that's stupid. If you accidentally crash into somebody's car and you leave information on their windshield, that's honest. If it's your information, stupid. And finally, if you admit to a police officer that you have been doing drugs, that's honest. If you offer him some, problem solved. Let's see. You guys are fun, man. Clap it up for yourselves one more time. Go ahead and get that ego clap in. You know you want to do it. All right. I don't know if this works or not. Okay. Thank you. A little bit more volume, please. Geriatric nurse, and she wanted me to do a show for her Alzheimer's patients, and I'm thinking, man, I need to show my career. So I just paid off my parents' house. Yeah, the last note, and now it's a rental. didn't like that one, sir? Okay. I'm gonna do this last song. This is a song that was written for me by a very honest homeless dude. And it's called Bury Me with a Box of Lemon Heads. I don't have a phone number, 'cause I don't have a phone. I don't get any mail, 'cause I don't have a home. You can keep your potatoes and you can keep your bread. All I want is a box of lemon heads. I don't eat cherry candy, 'cause they're kinda tart. I don't eat jelly beans, because they make me fart. All my friends, they drink whiskey, but now they're dead. Please bury me with a box of lemon heads. All my friends, they drink whiskey, but now they're dead. That's the hook. All my friends, they drink whiskey, no, and now they're dead. Please bury me. Please bury me. Please bury me with a box of lemon heads. I know it was dark, but thank you for clapping, sir. I appreciate it. That was a song that was written for me by a homeless geriatric nurse. You know what? I'm going to leave you guys with a... Look, she's a nurturer, I can tell. She's like, that is so mean. So when I was in college, I've been playing piano for a long time. I used to play piano in my dad's church. My dad is a pastor. Any PKs here? You guys got any PKs? No? One? Anybody? Anybody go to church at all? You know what that is? You guys What I learned, dude, is like, you know, religion and all of it, everything is, I wish we looked at society sort of like we looked at like church music, because even though it may look different, like all the words are still the same, everything is still the same, you know what I mean? It's like, so I used to play piano when I was in college at this Presbyterian church, but I grew up Baptist. But the songs were like completely different, same song, different vibe to it. Like, give me an example. Like, if you know this song, I want you to sing along, and I played, this is the way I had to play it in the Presbyterian's church. So if you know it, I want you to sing along. It goes like this. This little light of mine, if you know it's singing. I'm going, yeah. Since this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine. Presbyterian, that's how I had to play it, but the Black Baptist Church, the New Mount Calvary Missionary, Greater Grove Street Missionary Church is going to be completely different. You can't get away with that. It'd be more like, give me a little more volume. That's the intro. And then some dude comes in, let it shine. Let it shine. Hey, thank y'all very much. I've been really My name is Billy D. Washington, and I hope you enjoyed my special. I'd like to ask you a favor. If you won't mind, tip me. I'll tell you what I need the money for. I went over my time, and I need a brand new watch. This one doesn't even work. Looks good. It's plastic knockoff, got it at a convenience store. I need a brand new watch or something, just so I won't go over next time or go under. So do it for me, if you don't mind. If you like the special, I appreciate you watching. Just kind of help a brother get a new watch, man. I'd appreciate it. Thanks.